Hello and welcome to the Empathic Designer podcast. I'm your host Vytheeshwaran. This is the second episode in the Cognitive Bias series. Cognitive bias happens when we look at the world through our lens, and this means that cognitive bias is everywhere and is in every one of us, however rational and objective we think we are, which in itself is a bias. Our judgment is often clouded either consciously or unconsciously by our experiences, motives, and emotions that lead to such biases. In this series, we will look at some typical biases that we encounter as learning professionals. In this second part, let us look at anchoring bias and the curse of knowledge bias. So, you're working on this learning program and you've identified a strategy for a particular portion of your content. You had your aha moment and know that you've simply outdone yourself this time. What's left now is just to align the remaining content around this so that there is a sense of proper flow in the learning experience. And this is when you start seeing how to make the remaining content fall in place around this content strategy. This is known as anchoring bias, where we have the tendency to place excessive importance on one piece of information, often the first one we learn about a particular subject. You may often experience anchoring bias when negotiating design strategies with your clients, with them fixated on a particular modality for their own reasons and trying to get you to build something along the same lines. The best way to overcome anchoring bias is to recognize it, take a step back, and reevaluate your ideas. Creating mind maps for organizing your thoughts and design strategy goes a long way in helping you overcome this bias. One of my favorite biases when working with subject matter experts is the curse of knowledge bias. This happens when the expert is unable to look at an issue from the perspective of a less informed person. The impact of this bias can be seen during our discussions with the subject matter experts when we gather content or when the subject matter expert is working on evaluating our design strategies. In our pursuit to simplify things for our learners, we often end up in a tailspin by overcomplicating things. L&D consultants can help SMEs overcome this bias by performing a careful analysis of the target audience. L&D professionals should also put themselves in the shoes of the target audience and serve as their voice on the table. You can do this effectively by spending some time doing your own research on the content and align them with the 3 W's: work, worker, and the workplace. While talking to SMEs, be conscious about this particular bias yourself by not taking L&D jargon with them. Thanks a lot for tuning into this edition of the Empathic Designer podcast. If you like what you heard, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for getting those regular updates from my channel. As always, if you have any questions, do leave a message on the comment section below and I'd love to have a conversation with you. Thank you and have a wonderful day.